Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is the final race on Napa Fan in 2019. This, the new era 259 at the Homestead Miami Speedway, the Season 6 Turkey Hill Truck Series finale, and we're here on Christmas night for a big night at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Once we are done here with the Turkey Hill Truck Series, the New Era Cup Series will be hosting their finale race here around 7 p.m. Eastern Time. But either way, I'm alongside the guy who will be calling that race later on. But the focus right now is on this Turkey Hill Truck Series Championship. Fisher G, 447 points towards the championship. Edwin Mendez is 22 points behind. And Dan Parke is 31 points behind coming into tonight's race. The thing is, Fisher G starts 19th, Dan Parke and Edwin Mendez start 32nd and 33rd respectively. So Marty, what do Dan Parke and Edwin Mendez need to do in this race to surpass Fisher G in the points and take home this Turkey Hill Truck Series Championship?
I think the question here, though, Napper, is what Fisher G can't do if he wants to win the championship. And the one thing he can't do is do similar to what happened last time out at Darlington. Stayed in the back of the pack, couldn't find an open pass, finished outside of the top 30. If something happens to him, whether it's a wreck or not, or he doesn't have the best race car, not too sure where he starts today yet. We'll get the starting lineup to you guys in a moment. This could be a big opportunity for a guy like Edwin Mendez, who has a better chance than Dan Parke, 22 points back coming into today. If something happens, Edwin Mendez, he's got a lot of momentum coming out of Darlington, finishing second place there. Even though he only led one lap of the race, getting a bonus point, he could take advantage of that big time. But if something happens to both of them, this is where Dan Parke could really strive on that opportunity. Like we've said many times in the past few weeks, imagine if he did not blow the engine up at Chicagoland. It would have changed everything big time. If something happens with both Mendez and G, so they get in the same wreck altogether, Parke can get a big opportunity here and maybe try and take home this title in a big upset.
We'll just have to see how it all plays out. We have a championship battle in the last race of the year on Napa Fan, last race of the decade. And how fitting is it that the driver who won the first race of the decade on Napa Fan, that he gets to start on the pole? That's Jesse Turner, who's going to lead the field of the green flag. But I'm going to say it one more time. Fisher G is going to be starting in the 19th position. Dan Parke starting 32nd. Edwin Mendez starting 33rd. At the top left corner of your screen, you will see the points as they run throughout the race, given I have the time to do it. Hopefully I will. And you'll be able to tell how that championship battle aligns as this race goes along. As of right now, Fisher G has it very easily. But as Marty said, something could happen to Fisher G. Something could happen to all three of these guys in this race here today. And we could see ourselves a topsy-turvy championship battle in the final race of the year. It's a New Era 259. And Jesse Turner in the number 75, starting on the pole position. Looking for his first ever win in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. He's starting alongside first-time driver Owen Miles. And number 34 going for his first career Napa Fan win. A huge opportunity for that young driver right there. We'll have to see what he can do. Cole Sampson won at Watkins Glen earlier in the year. Trey Smith won earlier in the month at Bristol. Number 3, Nick Smith alongside Adam Garcia, both looking to cap off the year with a race victory. Jason Tucker and Igor Brito looking to do the same. Matt Tuck and Seth Cole. Seth Cole had a great year winning his first career Napa Fan race and then winning 3 more on the year with 4 total in 2019. There's Fisher G starting in the 19th position. He currently holds the points lead. Dan Parke in 32nd. Edwin Mendez in 33rd. And Marty, this is the last race of the year. All of these drivers want the bragging rights of winning the last race of the decade. Who's going to be in victory lane at the end of the night in the New Era 259?
I talked with Edwin Mendez before we came on for the broadcast, and Mendez, he's got a lot of momentum. He's been very hyped all day, or all week, I should say, in general. I think Mendez gets the win, and I think he may even pull off this championship.
That is a bold prediction, but Mendez could shock us all, just like this guy did in the Season 2 Chick-fil-A Cup Series Championship. Jesse Turner in the number 75 will lead us to the green flag for the final race of 2019, the final race of the decade on Napa Fan. It's been one heck of a decade, and we thank you very much for being part of it. Here we go. Green flag in the air. We're racing in the final race of the year. The new era 259 is green from Homestead. And a problem! Fisher G, 43, coming down the pit lane! Unbelievable! Absolutely unbelievable! This is exactly what happened to Dan Parke at Chicagoland, and the points leader by 22 points with an issue on the first lap of the race, and he is now in the last position. Unbelievable! And that is exactly what Dan Parke and Edwin Mendez needed, but here's the thing. They're deep in the field. Fisher G, as you can see, still holds on to the championship lead. But Marty, that changes everything here in this finale race.
Napa, I'm speechless here. Now, he finished in... Now, right now, if you look at it at the moment...
It was a tire issue.
A tire issue.
And he's going to get lapped right here, so that's going to do it. Only unless a caution comes out and he finds his way back on a lead lap, which is very unlikely.
Yeah.
He's not going to get a good run, but it was a tire issue. Because he came right off.
So now, Napa, you got to look at it this way. I mean, I'm not 100% sure at how the points work, but, like, if I'm correct, 1 point would equal a position. If you have 36 drivers, that means if Edwin, if he finishes, I think, 12...
Oh, and there goes Edwin Mendez in the inside wall with Sam Adio. No caution. They keep it going, but Mendez is all torn up. And that's another one on lap 4 with a huge issue.
Oh my gosh!
And now that's going to leave Dan Parke as the only championship contender on the lead lap and in contention to win the race, and he is deep in the field, but this is working out perfectly for the number 2 of Dan Parke.
I think right now, if you're Dan Parke, looking at the standings at the moment, he needs a top 5 or better, and he's the champion.
That's all he needs to do. It's all up to him now. What an opportunity for Dan Parke, but the problem is he's deep in the field and he's got a lot of guys to pass. Currently running 27th. And Edwin Mendez getting knocked out is huge for Fisher G. But that was a massive moment right there. Mendez, unbelievable. What we have seen in the first 5 laps of this race, and Edwin Mendez, he's going to be able to continue, but he's going to go a lap down. Back to the race lead. We haven't even been able to focus on this yet. Turner has led every lap so far. Cole Sampson to the inside for the race lead.
Got a good run here on the inside. I don't know really where you want to be on this version of Homestead, but it looks like for Turner, the outside line is perfect for him right now. Staying 2x2 down the back. Sampson not giving up.
Now keep in mind, there are going to be 0 pit stops in this race, so they're going to remain on the racetrack the entire way through, and that's going to make it hard for Dan Parke to move his way through, but he can do it. He's got to work hard for it. Currently, he runs in the 27th position.
That's going to be tough.
He can kind of work that middle lane, find a way around some guys, maybe have a huge wreck happen ahead of him, and him work through the field. He might have a shot, but as of right now, Fisher G still holds on to this points lead. Edwin Mendez, the other championship contender, is effectively out of it. He is coming back on the racetrack right there, but he's 2 laps down in the last position. But unbelievable what we have seen so far here in the last race of the year. Jesse Turner continuing the lead. Cole Sampson trying to get a run to the inside of him right there. Couldn't do it. I think the other guy who was involved was last year's winner of this race, Nicholas Sam Adio. Sam Adio is no rookie, and that is definitely interesting to see a guy like that pull a move like that. But we'll have to see how it all goes down for Dan Parke as this race goes along. He's still stuck way back in the number 2, and they're closing in on Mendez here.
I was going to say, he's going to slow down some of these.
Oh, boy.
And Parke's going to get slowed down from this.
He is. And at this point, Dan Parke's going to need a caution to have a shot. And he is stuck behind Mendez, and that 63 should not have come back out there. I know he's trying to salvage all he can to have a shot. But if Dan Parke's not careful, he might get involved in the accident.
Napper, they were nearly 4 wide in turn 1. That could have triggered a huge wreck. That white car that's about to go into turn 3, not too sure who it was. But that was very close. That could have triggered a big accident and could have been the caution that Dan Parke may have needed or not needed, based on what would have happened.
So we'll have to see how it all goes down as this race goes along, but Dan Parke's going to need a caution to have any shot at getting back inside to a position where he's going to need to win this championship. And like you said, Marty, he's going to probably need a top 5 finish if he's going to win this thing. He's not going to have a problem getting around Mendez, but Fisher G is 31 points behind coming into this race. G is currently 35th, so he would need to finish at least 4th or better. He does hold the tiebreaker on him, though, so that's good, but with where things are going right now, he's 6 seconds off in 27th and not gain any ground on the positions. And he's going to need a caution in order to get back up and have a shot at this top 5. But just think, if he qualified better, if he didn't have that thing at Chicagoland, if he didn't do this, didn't do that, so many things went Dan Parke's wrong direction, basically. Didn't go his way, I should say. And once again, something else didn't go his way. He got caught behind a lap car and slowed him down. So we'll have to see how it affects the whole championship run, but Fisher G continues to hold it here. Even though he had to come down the pit lane to fix a tire, he's a lap down right now. Still has it by a pretty sizable margin here at Homestead.
Yeah, so, I mean, surprisingly, right now at the moment, this has gone Fisher G's way after the tough lap 1 tire issue that happened, but good battle for 4th happening on the track.
And Matthew Brown with an engine failure, and that's another position for Fisher G, so keep that in mind. So that's the thing. Dan Parke needs a wreck or a caution to occur, but he can't have too many drivers get knocked out because Fisher G is still out there on the racetrack. And if we get a lot of guys to get knocked out, Fisher G might bump up enough where Dan Parke has no chance.
Exactly. So right now, if I'm Dan Parke, you gotta go for it right here all the way. Is Adam Garcia to be exactly, looking for that runner-up spot, and Parke still way back, and he's losing the draft, losing that toe off of the guy ahead of him, which is at the line, Eli Bright.
So Dan Parke 26th right now, and not doing too good, but he's the only championship contender that has not had a major issue tonight. He just didn't get a good starting position. He got caught behind Mendez when he was coming back on the racetrack. Turner getting swarmed, and they're hitting Mendez again. And you know what? He might end up with a caution, because if you remember the Season 6 Chick-fil-A Cup Series Championship when Trey Bartow was pulling away from Elijah Gordon, Bartow got caught up with a lap car at the end of the race and wrecked out. And look at the closing rate there of those guys behind. You could easily see a caution out of Edwin Mendez here if they're not careful, but they are splitting up all the way through the field. We saw this a lot yesterday from the Christmas Eve 500. Look at the closing rate of these guys behind. Shane Lake right there.
I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
Dan Parke was able to close back in.
Somebody's
blowing up. That's Josh Williamson, and that's the second engine failure that we've seen tonight.
Oh my god.
Only on lap 16. So many wild things happening so far in this race, but Williamson, and if he's not careful, he might trigger a caution. And that's the exact caution that Dan Parke needs. Parke's going to finally get around Edwin Mendez right there, but tough break for all those guys, and he stuck behind Mendez again, but Dan Parke won out a little bit there. Was able to gain some ground, gain some position, so we'll have to see where he ends up filing through at the end of all this. He's still a little ways behind. Now, one guy who really got taken out of that one was Jesse Turner, and he was running inside the top 5 when they ran in. The Mendez got stuck behind him for 2 or 3 straight laps.
Yeah, that's a tough break right there for Jesse Turner. He was running up near the front, but lost the lead to Sampson. Now you got a 5-car train breaking away at the moment. Unless, who's the guy ahead they may catch up to?
That's Nicholas Samadillo in the 7. I don't think he's near as slow as Mendez, but remember, Samadillo and Mendez got caught up in that accident. And that is what triggered Mendez to become the slow-moving chicane that he is right now. But Dan Parke didn't really gain much on that whole episode right there. 25th right now for the number 2 machine. I mean, he'll gain a few positions on Fisher G, but it's not enough right now. And you got to think, Josh Williamson is also out of the race, so now Fisher G is 33rd. That's going to make it even harder for Dan Parke.
Now, here's my question: if he would finish, if G stayed where he is and Parke finished second, that would probably be a tiebreaker. What's the tiebreaker?
It would, and Dan Parke holds the tiebreaker, like I said earlier. So Dan Parke and Edwin Mendez both hold the tiebreaker on wins. Fisher G has not even won a race this year. About to win the championship, so we'll have to see how it all goes down. No caution yet in this race. They're going to have to catch up to Mendez again. Oh my goodness, this guy is slow. He should not be out there at this point.
This kind of reminds me a little bit of back in the Monster Energy IndyCar Oval Series back at Texas a few months ago when Brad Stover had slowed down the pack numerous times and triggered, I think, 2 wrecks as a lap car.
Trey Smith trying to make a run on Nick Smith. Adam Garcia's up here. A lot of guys up here looking for their first win of the year. Adam Garcia's had a really tough season. Nick Smith, McAngelo on the wing was looking for his 3rd win of the year. Matt Tuck's up here. They're closing in on Sam Medeo right there, and they got to get around him. And here they go again on Mendez. It's going to be a common theme throughout the night. Only unless something happens and they end up wrecking.
Almost got into that 78 of Nwangu for a moment. That was close.
Now Adam Garcia, Matt Tuck getting held up there. Jason Tucker as well. There goes Adam Garcia to the inside. Matt Tuck as well trying to get the run. But Edwin Mendez is going to be a huge factor on who wins this race here tonight. No doubt about it. Kukulon got slowed up right there.
Oh, that 24 car, Sebastian Kukulon, he really wants to turn Mendez big time.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys who I think want to turn him around.
And
Turner really got hit by him there, so...
watch Parke in a lot of spots here.
Park's not gonna lose much here. He's gonna gain a few more positions, but he's still quite a ways behind. This is a really odd race. The way these guys have spread out here tonight is just really strange. We don't usually see this at a intermediate track like this, but Cole Sampson pulling away now in the 91. He's almost got a 2nd lead on the field. Dan Park's able to gain some ground right there. We got some bumping going on right there between the Wangmu and Trey Smith. And at the line, Dan Park will be, I believe, 22nd. Yes, 7.89 seconds behind. So he's moved up a little bit, but I think he's going to need to caution. We're past halfway here at Homestead in the New Era 259. Last race of 2019. Trying to catch our breaths after what happened in this one. We got to watch out for this right here. Barreto could slide up into the Wangwu. They kept it together right there.
And they're about to put a lap on Fisher G here in the 43.
And they're going to put him 2 laps down. But he's still the points leader, as you can see there on the left of your screen. Cole Sampson holding on to the race lead. Owen Miles and Nick Smith trying to get around him here. They are closing in. The Wangwu has had a great season, and then number 78 Machine got the win in Las Vegas, got the win at Armory Digital, both under caution. He'd like to get one under the green flag before the year ends. How about Joe Rutkowski? He's inside the top 10. Ace Garcia and Madison Toll have joined this lead pack right here, and they're all inside the top 10.
Yeah, good performances by them. You know, Toll came close to that win at Talladega a few races ago. But unfortunately, when she made contact with lap traffic going by...
And you know who the lap traffic was? The guy going to the inside of her was Joe Rutkowski.
Oh,
and now they're battling each other here for position on the racetrack.
Now, here's the thing. Keep in mind with Fisher G in that 43. Still has that fast car, you know, had a tire issue. But he can still try and race and maybe try and get one of his 2 laps back. If you do get that caution flag, though, he would line up at the inside line as long as the restart would be with at least 10 laps to go.
So if you're wondering why we did not end up with a caution when Mendez and Sam Medeo hit the inside wall, they kept it going straight. They were never sideways or stopped on the racetrack. And Mendez again!
Oh, bye!
Yikes, and that one was really close between the Wangwu and those guys. I didn't even see him coming. And at some point, they got to get into him the way they're racing around him here.
They either got to get into him or race control has to black flag him.
Yeah, this is ridiculous here. I've never seen a truck this slow before, but that's what we're getting right now, unfortunately. Matt Tuck now getting held up by the 63 machine. It's really the lead pack, I think, that has to worry here, because it's that lead pack that's racing really hard.
Got to worry as well, because let's watch for how Dan Park deals with that 63 as well.
And it does appear that Park will get around him.
Yep. Whoa!
Logan almost got into him there. But Dan Park able to gain. He's now up to 20th, but it's still not near enough to get to Fisher G in the points. He's going to need at least a top 5 run, maybe more at this point. Fisher G currently in 33rd still. Sam Medeo still ahead of him. And we've seen 2 engine failures tonight, but we've been green the whole way through. It's kind of hard to believe. Now, Fisher G's obviously got a fast truck. He just had a tire issue. Had to replace the tire. But, all right, where he's right now, he's safe in the lead pack. That might be a good place to be. The guys are... Well, they're racing hard, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But he's racing around good cars, good trucks, so might be where you want to be. But Dan Parke is 19th now. And he's going to need a caution here within the last few laps if he's going to have a shot. But he actually has gained on the lead pack. Nick Smith trying to make a run on Cole Sampson for the race lead. And the other thing, too, these guys are racing for the last win of the year. That's a pretty big deal for these guys. We're not going to have another race till the Meliello Smooth Fest in February. So these guys want to get that race win. And a lot of these guys who are racing for the race win are not going to be in the Smooth Fest. Some of them probably going to be in the Daytona 500. But a little tight right there between Nick Smith and Cole Sampson. But Smith's going to have a run here with help from Fisher G behind him.
Yeah, and you were going on talking about the Smooth Fest. The Smooth Fest going to kick off a huge speed weeks when we come to 2020. And by that, I mean probably the biggest NOFSRL speed weeks, maybe NO 2003 speed weeks when we get to it. We'll talk more about that later, though.
And we're sponsoring the Core race. Yes, that Core League.
Yeah, that
the night before the Meliello Smooth Fest occurs, so it's going to be a really big week in first full week of February right there in 2020. Right now, the focus on the final race of 2019. And we have ourselves now 12 laps to go in the finale race. This race has gone by pretty quickly. Cole Sampson looking to win his 2nd race of the season, but Nick Smith and Trey Smith doing a great job. How about Rutkowski? He's moving his way through the field very nicely here. To the inside of the Wangwu for 4th right now, and I would imagine, and there he is, Edwin Mendez. You can see him right there ahead of this lead pack.
Right now, at the rate Mendez is going, I think they're going to catch him after this probably 1 or 2 more times.
Ooh, they're going to hit him through the corner. Sampson's going to get held up, and Trey Smith goes to the inside, but now Smith's going to get held up, and the lead pack gets held up completely. And now Joe Rutkowski, 3 wide to the race lead, just like that. Oh my! That's just hard for Cole Sampson. He dominated this race, and now you got these guys closing in. Sampson still stuck behind Mendez. This is unbelievable.
Here comes that 2nd pack now with Dan Parke, and this is going to help him out big time.
Yeah, Dan Parke on the outside lane here, though. He might get held up by Mendez if they're not careful. Oh boy!
Oh my! That almost triggered a wreck, and now he's gonna get slowed up.
And Sampson is still behind Mendez, and now Dan Parke stuck on that outside there, but he's the last car in line, so he'll drop down. He should drop down. Took him too long to drop down.
I would not be surprised if we had a confrontation after the race. How about Matt Tuck pulling a gutsy move there?
And Dan Parke needed a caution right there. I don't think we're going to hit Mendez again for there to be a caution and still a restart, so that's probably going to do it. But how about the race lead? Joe Rutkowski has taken it away. And all thanks to Edwin Mendez for helping him out there. Cole Sampson got held up, and now number 64 is holding on to the race lead with... Do the math here. 8 laps to go in the New Era 259. If we're going to get a caution and a restart, we're going to have the caution within the next 3 laps. Otherwise, that means that we're going to pretty much go
for the lead,
refly the whole way through, or end the race under caution. Owen Miles trying to get a run on the inside. He's not going to do it. Rutkowski holding on to the outside lane. Gonna get the run off the corner and lead the lap again, but now we got some new faces up front. Ace Garcia's up here in the 55, and Madison Toll as well in the 54. Madison Toll's boyfriend is going to be a Final Four driver in the New Era Cup Series race later on. We'll have to see if it's going to be a clean sweep for those guys here tonight. I don't know if Toll's going to get it, though. She's stuck on the outside right there. Ace Garcia to the inside for second on Owen Miles as Rutkowski's trying to get around a Fisher G, who's now a lap down. On the verge of 2 laps down as the race leader tries to get to the inside of him.
And they're going to catch up lap traffic again. Not Mendez, though. As a near
boy, what a move out of Ace Garcia.
Now watch that 34 closely of Miles. I think he'll hold the line and get the more momentum off of 2. And he's got that good draft with Fisher G. Rutkowski can't clear the 43 just yet. Here comes Tall.
3 wide for the 4th position. Not going to have that run on the inside. Do not count out Nwangwu or Trey Smith yet. And do not count out Edwin Mendez affecting the race winner either. He's probably going to be in the way at some point before the end of this race.
And now we
have 5 laps to go in 2019. What a year it's been on Napa Fan. Nathan Baird, first ever rookie champion, the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. It appears that Fisher G is going to win his first ever Napa Fan Championship. We had a really interesting IndyCar series this year with Justin Zaidel, and it all caps off here with the Turkey Hill Truck Series finale at Homestead. Joe Rakowski leads it.
Mendez.
Oh, what a move out of Rakowski! He nailed it. He absolutely nailed that. He was single file and whipped it on the outside, and goodbye. He's out of here.
See you later. Joe Rakowski is gone. He's got the W unless he blows up or has to come down pit road for a malfunction.
Absolutely. That's the last time they're going to run into Mendez.
Ooh, and they almost are going to wreck. Tall almost spun out Fisher G there.
And just think, if Dan Parke actually managed that last time around Mendez well, he'd probably be going around him now and find himself inside the top 10, but it just wasn't enough for him, unfortunately, and they are really jamming it up here.
Huge Hornet's nest in 1.
Dan Parke going to get around Fisher G, but it's not going to be for anything. Such a tough break for the number 2. Had a shot, but he's just too far behind in the points. Here we go, Joe Rakowski. I don't think he's won a race this year on Napa Fan. Of course, he has won before. 2 laps to go for the number 64 and Christian Vargas' Revolution Racing. Joe Rakowski, a second lead on Owen Miles as he whipped around Mendez and those guys to come home with the race lead. And 1.5 more laps, he's going to victory lane in the last race of the season.
This is the biggest lead we've seen so far today by any driver. 1.26 seconds when they came to the line. And when Rakowski takes the comes to cross the stripe, here comes the white flag in the air. 1.5 miles to go.
1 lap to go in 2019 on Napa Fan. The final lap of the year, the final lap of the decade. And Joe Rakowski looking to win the final race of 2019. And it looks like he's going to have it with ease ahead of Nwangwu and Owen Miles. Joe Rakowski, what a great performance here tonight. Didn't really have a good season, but he is going to get a race victory in the final race of the season. Off at turn 4, Joe Rakowski wins the New Era 259 in Homestead. And Fisher G, with no wins, will be your 2019 Turkey Hill Truck Series champion. What a performance out of Fisher G. So many things could have gone wrong, but because of the dominating season that he had early on, he had the buffer. And he has the Turkey Hill Truck Series Championship here tonight at the Homestead Miami Speedway.
Dominant season for Fisher G. Despite no wins, comes down to the one who's like the most consistent all year, the one with the better average finish. Fisher G, my goodness. Just what a race overall for him, and probably this wacky race we had as well, because, you know, G, a tire violation. Well, tire issue, excuse me, on lap 1 has to come down pit road. We thought it was it, but then Mendez got involved in a crash, and then it was probably it from there.
Caution-free race to end the year out, and Fisher G can thank Nicholas Samadillo for that championship that he's going to hoist here soon. And if Mendez didn't wreck, I don't think we would have had that issue with I guess it wasn't really an issue. I mean, it was a great race. What am I saying? It was an issue for Dan Parke. It was an issue for Edwin Mendez. And it just wasn't as close as we thought it could have been. But Joe Rakowski getting the race victory with Michelangelo Nwangwu. A great season in his debut on Napa Fan, finishing second in the finale race. And then Owen Miles, great run. Igor Barreto and Jason Tucker. A lot of guys who did not get good runs throughout the season, pulling it off at the end here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. And Marty, what a year it was on Napa Fan. I'm going to ask you, what were some of your favorite moments of the year here in 2019 on Napa Fan?
It's gotta be a good question. You know, I'd probably say I loved calling that Turkey Hill Truck Series race at Talladega a few days ago. That was a blast to call, especially with the wild moments we had. at the end of the race that with Fisher G barely missing that wreck and the big one happening in the leader pack, as well as probably Zachary Fitzwater. He won the season opening race. Not the best year for Fitzy though, but good year for him. Winning Daytona though, I'll take that as a positive away as we head into the next 10 years, but as well in like 2019 and general on your channel. I don't know. That's gonna be a tough one to say.
There's a lot of great moments. Of course, Fitzwater won a dual race back in February. Of course, Marzak won his second Daytona 500. Nathan Baird winning the championship at Darlington. I'm going to go ahead off a limb here and say that the race of the year on Napa Fan was the Meliolo Southern 500. That thing was awesome. We had a side-by-side finish. We had a championship get clinched. It had everything. And that's why next year in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, we're going to host the finale there at the Darlington Raceway. So this will be the last finale we ever hold at Homestead in the near future. So we'll be back here in March with the Chick-fil-A Cup Series and Turkey Hill Series. Looking forward to that. But as you take a look at the official standings, and if you look at how it was this whole season for Fisher G, you'd see that points margin, and you're going to wonder to yourself, what happened? But those final 3 races for Fisher G, man, they were tough. Talladega finished outside the top 20. 30th place finish at Darlington. 33rd at Homestead. I mean, if he did not have that buffer that he had heading into those final 3 races, this would not have been near as close as it was, but he still holds on to it. 16 points ahead of Dan Parke to win the Season 6 Turkey Hill Truck Series Championship. And just how about that season for Fisher G? No wins, just like Justin Zeidel in the Haas IndyCar Series this year as well. He did an excellent job there, but didn't get any wins. Very similar way that Fisher G won his first ever Napa Fan Championship. Fisher G in the number 43 will be your champion here. The final race of the year. We thank you so much for all that you guys have done for the NOFSRL in 2019. And Marty, we got a big year coming up in 2020. We're looking forward to it. We're working on it right now. There's so many things to plan, but that's going to be the last race on Napa Fan until February 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It is my absolute favorite special event anywhere. The Meliolo Smooth Fest. That's the best darn thing on this channel. It opens up the year. We're racing on Napa Fan, and it's all the returning drivers from season number 8 that are going to be in season number 9, going after it for 20 laps at Daytona. Not going to be that long from now until it happens, but I'm excited for that. New Era Cup Series is going to be starting around the same time for their next season. But also, New Era Cup Series is going to have their finale here in just under a couple of hours over on Marty's channel. So we're not done with the racing here tonight, but we're done with the racing on Napa Fan for 2019, and we thank you so much for all the support you've given us and given Marty and everyone in the NOFSRL. And we are looking forward to 2020. So, Marty, final thoughts on the year?
Congrats to Fisher G on the title. It was a good year. But yeah, come on to my channel shortly. We got the New Era Cup Series Ford EcoBoost 400 here. It's going to be a fun one.
One last race in the NOFSRL for 2019 and a championship to be decided on the old chase format. Remember, the New Era Cup Series still uses the elimination format, so it's going to be an interesting one between Justin Zeidel, Steve Morgan, Matthew Logan, and Nathan Stapleton. A lot of good drivers in there looking to win a New Era Cup Series championship. But either way, thank you guys so much for all that you've given me. God bless you all. You're some of the best people I know. And I'm looking forward to a great year in 2020. All begins February 7th from Daytona with the Meliolo Smooth Fest. Sign-ups for the Chick-fil-A Cup Series and Turkey Hill Series are going to be January 31st, beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Napa Fan. On behalf of Marty Zakela, thank you guys so much for watching this entire year. The top 25 closest finishes on Napa Fan will be up on New Year's Eve. And we'll have some things going up in January, mainly focusing on the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. We'll be releasing the schedule, the intro, the cars. We'll have preseason Thunder. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right here, and we'll be back with racing in February. Thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Joe Rutkowski, and congratulations to Fisher G for his championship in Season 6 of the Turkey Hill Truck Series. I will see you guys later!